What's up, everybody? It's Ness again. I know I said I was going to start trying to post more of these more often, but I had a little bit of stuff going on, so I'm bringing you Danger Dark World today for, right now it's June 2021, so we don't have a new ban list yet, but there's not really a lot of stuff in here that would be banned anyway, so I'm just going to get started. 3 Grapha, pitch him, destroy a card, and then you can bring a Dark World back from the field to your hand and then bring him back out of the graveyard. So he's pretty much a standard staple for him. And then I run one of each, Gold, Silva, and Lucent. Basically they're in here as discard fodder. They come right back from the graveyard and they each have their own unique effect if they're discarded by an opponent's effect, which doesn't typically happen, but we have like one card that can change that in the deck, but I'll show you that later on. 3 Snow, it's pretty much mandatory. It's a searcher. You can search any Dark World card. Doesn't have to be a monster. I'm pretty sure, yep, add 1 Dark World card from your deck to your hand. Yep, so a lot of the time, the best option is to get Dark World dealings. That's what I like to do with it. Some people like to run 2 or 1 of these, but I like to run 3 bays just because of all the discarding with the danger monsters and stuff. He's basically like Lucent, Gold, and Silva, but he's just generic. He's a 4-star, so you can be normal summoned and stuff, so I like to play him too. Followed that with 3 Brow. Brow, everybody knows what he does. He's your, you pitch him, you get to draw another card, or in the unlikely event an opponent manages to pitch him out of your hand, you get to draw an additional card. And then the only non-Dark World or Danger monster I run is 1 Morphing Jar. Felt like it was too good not to pass up. I know it's a slow card, but there is times where you can trick your opponent into thinking that you're just setting because you don't have anything, and then they can run into it. And then once you've done it, you can play mind games and bluff with like your normal summon monsters, like if you want to use a Brow or a what's his name? Brow or Beige. So for dangers, we do 1 of the limited of each one. So we run Nessie, Tsuchinoko, and Jackalope. Not much to say about these guys. Everybody knows what they do by now, but I'll try to be quick so this video doesn't take forever. This one lets you special summon a danger from the deck in defense position, so a lot of time you get Ogopogo. He special summons himself no matter what, and he lets you search and replace himself with something. So Nessie's like the best, and one reason. Do 3 Bigfoot. If he gets pitched, I think I don't know if it's a monster or I think it's just a face-up card. Destroy, yeah, target 1 face-up card your opponent controls. So he can't hit back rows like your floodgate cards and stuff like that. Now, with that said, there's some floodgates that, you know, obviously he's not going to be able to hit. 2 Thunderbird. Some people do 3. I only like 2, and he does your back. He hits set cards. So a lot of the time it's back row. You don't find a lot of people that set normal stuff. 1 Dogman. He's one of the levels. I think he's the only level 7. No, there's another one. I think Nessie is. Whatever. So Dogman is he drops everything by 1,000 if he's discarded. Ogopogo. His discard effect is very minor. I think it's like it's a Foolish Burial with him. These are all based off of cryptids, you know, your Sasquatch, etc., and stuff like that. So if anybody's not familiar, which you guys should be by now. 3 Mothman. He's your Dark World, second Dark World dealings for the deck, especially with everything that you're wanting to pitch and get engraved and stuff like that. This deck is like non-stop draw power, non-stop shenanigans with that. Next up is Chiva Carver, which is like the Monster Reborn of the deck, and can be a normal summon too, just like Mothman. Very rarely you're ever going to normal summon them, but running 3 of them is really good, especially if you're hitting like Ogopogo and you send a Bigfoot to the grave, blah 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 blah, you get it back. Spells are going to be 1 Reborn, Basic Extender, Card Destruction. It's Dark World and Danger. Why wouldn't you? This card can be a huge blowout. 1 Pot of Avarice, just because it does help. It's nice to get certain cards back. 1 Day of Peace, because this deck doesn't have a lot of defense in it, and obviously you want to draw cards as much as you can. 1 Into the Void. This card can really be nice, especially if you got a bunch of Dark World stuff and you want to use it to get their effects and stuff like that. So I wish this card was still at 3, but I understand why it's not, especially for like Infernity decks, I guess, and stuff like that. One, barrel from different dimension. Being able to return certain cards back from the banished zone to the graveyard's kind of nice, especially like if you're removing stuff from play with the Lore of Darkness and stuff, or if you Lore of Darkness a Grapha, and then you use this and bring the Grapha back in the deck, and you have like a beige on board, you can do that. Just doing 2 of the gates. It's alright. There's a lot of matches where I end up discarding it, but whenever you do get it going, it helps having that additional draw. 3 Dark World dealings, you know what that does. Draw 1, each player draws 1, then discards 1. It sets off a lot of your Dark World stuff and helps you keep digging through the deck. 3 drag downs. I would heavily advise using this more so whenever you just have Dark Worlds in your hand. Try to sift through your dangers first and get their effects, then go into your drag downs. But I mean, you can force them and compromise. Like if you do drag down, you have a Thunderbird and a Bigfoot in hand, like they're gonna lose out one way or another. So not that that's a applicable play, but still, you do run a lot of level 8s. I think there's a total of 6, 7, 8, 9 in the deck, so that warrants 3 trade-in, graveyard setup, etc. The reason we were playing the Burial from Different Dimensions because we run 3 Lore of Darkness, draw 2, banish dark. 90% of the time let's say 99.9% of the time you're going to resolve this properly. And then I chose to run 3 beginning and the end. If you have 7 or more in the grave, you banish 5 dark monsters and draw 3 cards. This comes up a lot more than you would expect it to, believe it or not. There's been games where I've resolved it twice and even 3 times. I at least get 1 off per game. And then for the traps, they're pretty self-explanatory. We do the 1 skill drain just because sometimes if you're not relying on your extra deck stuff, shutting everything off and just having like Bigfoot and Grapple on the field's nice to run over stuff because they're pretty big. Plus with the boost that Grapha would get off of the gates, he's in the 3000s. So I'm doing 2 Eradicator Epidemic viruses. I think it's nice. It shuts down a lot of like smaller monsters and stuff like that. Combo pieces, having the hand knowledge and know what they're drawing into and stuff's cool. I might take Mind Crush out because of the controversy with the ruling and whatnot that's going on with it, that like your opponent basically doesn't have to tell you what it is, but a lot of the time I'll just call a card that's banned, and knowing that they don't have it, then it causes me to have to discard a card from my hand, which helps me get stuff. And then the last card, we're going to use Dark World Brainwashing. This is the card I was talking about earlier that you can use to change effects into your opponent discards a card from your hand. So like this boosts certain cards like your 3 level 5s, Silver Gold and Lucent, and then this also helps out with Brow. So that's the main deck. It's 60 cards, and believe it or not, with it being 60 cards, it actually goes pretty fast. Extra board's pretty self-explanatory too. We do the 1 Boral Dragon because it's big and easy to do. 1 Borload Dragon. The only reason he's in here is because I haven't put like an Appaloosa in or something else, but he does fine. A lot of time you don't even need these things. I do use 2 Saruja Skull Dread, whatever you say it, just because of the massive draw power off of it and stuff, and he's a pretty hammy dude. So, he's good. And then I do Topology Trisabana. I very rarely use him, but whenever I do, it does come in handy. That's like my catchphrase now, I guess. And then I'm doing full Nightmare package. Griffin, Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus, whatever. They're all no introduction needed with them. And then for the Exceeds, we do 1 Zombie Stun because you can make him because all your level 8 monsters are dark. Hope Harbinger just because it's excellent. Divine Dragon Felgram because I had it. It was just like an additional level 8 that I had. But I'm thinking about putting in like one of the Galaxy Eyes monsters. And then I have a couple level 4s and just do Tornado Dragon for spell and trap removal. Castel to spin stuff. And then Dweller because Dweller's excellent. It's probably the best rank 4 there is. But that's my Danger Dark World 60 card deck. Thank you guys for watching. Out.